Welcome to this 20-minute flow. We'll begin in a child's pose, knees apart, big toes touching. Allowing the forehead to rest on the mat. And see if you can inhale a little bit deeper. And slowing down that exhale. On your next inhale, finding yourself in tabletop. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, and taking a few cat and cows. Warming up the spine. Pressing firmly into the palms and the tops of the feet. Starting the movement from the tailbone and then following the vertebrae all the way up to the top of the head. On your next inhale, finding yourself back in tabletop, extending the right leg out long, drawing the belly button towards the spine, core engaged. Holding it here. On an exhale, releasing that leg back down, inhaling the opposite leg up. Stretch the toes back, pushing the floor away with the hands, lengthening the spine and making space between the ears and the shoulders, rolling the shoulders down the back. Releasing that leg down, extending right leg to the right corner of the mat, and creating rainbow legs here, core engaged the entire time. As you lift that leg and bringing it around, arcing it behind you. Only the leg moving. And on an exhale, stepping that right foot to the outside of the right hand, sinking hips down, chest lifting open. Staying here or lifting that back knee up. Continue sinking the hips down while pressing firmly into both heels. Continue opening the chest to the top of the mat. Breathing into that stretch and releasing back into all fours. This time left foot back to the left corner of the mat and rainbowing the leg back and forth, touching each corner of the mat. Core engaged the whole time. And see if you can isolate this movement to the leg. And the next time the leg comes over to the left, exhale, stepping it to the outside of the left hand, sinking those hips down. Chest opening, tenting the fingers if you need to. And then maybe lifting the back knee up off the mat. Continue sinking the hips down, pressing firmly through both heels. Chest opening forward. Breathing deep into your belly. Planting those palms and pressing back to downward dog. Maybe pedaling out the legs or holding it here. Taking full belly breaths. On an inhale, looking between the hands, coming to the tips of the toes and walking all the way forward into a forward fold. Letting the arms hang heavy, maybe grabbing hold of either elbow. Maybe rocking gently side to side. Completely relaxed. Inhale, rolling the spine up, head and neck coming up last. And rolling those shoulders up, back and down, mountain pose. Softening the gaze, and maybe taking a moment to set an intention for your practice here today. On an inhale, arms reaching overhead. Exhale, palms for heart center. Stepping that right foot back at a 45 degree. Coming into warrior one, so those feet are on two separate planes. Hips squared forward, maybe reaching arms overhead, creating space between the shoulders and the ears, rolling the shoulders down the back. Breathing deep. And exhale, hands behind you, interlacing the fingers. Taking a deep inhale, and as you exhale, diving forward. Bringing that left shoulder to the inside of the knee, creating space. Continue pressing firmly through both feet. On your next inhale, pressing through the feet, coming all the way back up, releasing those arms, stepping back into mountain pose. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, diving down. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step hopper, walk back to plank. And making your way to down dog. Taking a deep inhale, and as you exhale, stepping left foot forward, walking hands all the way over to the back of the mat, coming into a forward fold. On an inhale, rolling that spine up, head and neck coming up last. Drawing those shoulders up, back and down, mountain pose. Taking a moment here, softening the gaze. As you inhale, arms overhead, exhale, palms through heart center, stepping the left foot back, coming into that warrior one. Maybe arms reaching overhead, hands together or separated. Continue bending into that front knee, squaring the hips to the top of the mat. Interlacing fingers behind the back body, drawing those palms together and back. Exhale as you dive forward, reaching those palms up and towards the top of that mat. Continue pressing through the feet, finding stability. On your next inhale, leading with those arms, coming all the way back up, releasing hands overhead. Exhale, stepping forward, mountain pose. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, diving down, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, stepping back into downward facing dog. Taking a deep inhale. And as you exhale, stepping right foot forward, walking hands to the long side of the mat. Creating a long spine as you open the hips back. Continue pressing through the balls of the feet, so bringing the weight slightly forward. Opening those hips back, reaching long through the crown of the head. As you exhale, walking that left hand over to the right foot, reaching that opposite arm overhead, maybe circling the wrist in either direction, feeling that twist through the back body. Maybe bringing that top arm to reach around towards the hip. Continue rotating here, one more breath. And on your exhale, switching to the opposite side. Maybe rolling that top wrist in either direction. Maybe grabbing hold of that hip. Continue rotating through the torso. And as you're ready, releasing here, walking the hands back to center, once again finding length through the spine. And then walking hands all the way towards the top of the mat, pressing back, down dog. Inhale, reaching that right leg to the sky. Exhale, stepping the foot between the hands. Either staying here, inhale all the way up, crescent lunge, arms reaching overhead. Pressing firmly through both heels. You notice those ribs flaring out. See if you can tuck them in here. And exhale, hands back down to the mat if they're not already there. Heel toe that right foot to the right side of the mat. And maybe reaching back to that back foot. Sinking the hips down, actively pressing that foot into the hand, hand pulling the foot. creating that resistance. Breathing deep into the belly and releasing that heel toe, the foot, all the way over to the left, finding your pigeon pose. So taking a moment to find length through the spine, squaring the hips. And then as you exhale, releasing down, forehead resting on the mat or stacked arms. Notice what's happening in the hips. If there's a lot of tightness here, imagine breathing in space and exhaling out any tension. On your next inhale, coming back to the hands, tucking back toes under, and pressing yourself back to downward facing dog. Taking a moment. Looking to the top of the mat, step, hop, or walk all the way forward, forward fold. Maybe holding onto either elbow or reaching behind the legs, deeper fold. And inhale, rolling the spine up, shoulders up, back and down, mountain pose. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, palms through heart center. Coming back to mountain pose. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold all the way down to the mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step, hop, or walk back, down dog. Inhale, left leg to the sky. Exhale, stepping the foot between the hands. And then staying here, or inhale, arms overhead, crescent lunge. Maybe sinking a little bit deeper into your lunge. And coming back to that intention that you set for today's class. Exhaling those hands down, heel toe, the left foot over to the left, dropping back knee down, and then maybe reaching the left hand back to the foot, creating that resistance, pressing foot into hand, hand, pulling the foot up. Sinking the hips down, rotating the chest open. Full belly breathing. On your next exhale, releasing that hand and heel toe the foot all the way over to the right. Finding your pigeon pose, untucking back toes. Taking a moment to find length through the spine, squaring the hips. And as you exhale, folding forward, relaxing the forehead down. Breathing into any tension you may find here. Softening the shoulders down the back. On your next inhale, begin to walk those hands back in, tucking back toes under, stepping back, down dog. If you'd like, pedaling out those feet. Looking to the top of your mat, coming to the tips of the toes, step, hop, or walk all the way forward, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, diving further down. maybe clasping onto those big toes. Rolling the spine up as you inhale. Shoulders up, back and down, mountain pose. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, palms together through heart center. And maybe keeping hands together, see if you can gracefully, slowly, balanced, come all the way down to your mat. As you roll all the way down onto your back, finding bridge pose. Lifting those hips, pressing into the forearms, breathing into the belly. Exhale to roll the spine down, tailbone coming down last. Hugging knees into the chest, finding a gentle rock side to side, massaging the back body. As you're ready, releasing those feet back down. And once again, pressing back up, bridge pose. Maybe tucking the shoulders under this time, interlacing fingers behind the spine. As you do that, check in if the knees have gone in or out. Holding the legs strong, knees about hip distance. Imagine holding a block there. And untucking those shoulders, slowly roll the spine down, tailbone coming down last, hugging knees into chest, and bringing that nose to the knees, core engaged, releasing the head down, maybe taking a gentle rock side to side. As you rock side to side, hands coming under the low back for support, legs up to the sky, in a modified legs up the wall pose, allowing the toes to relax, ankles to relax, knees to relax. Notice if you need to take a bit of a bend through the legs for them to feel restful here. Slightly tucking chin to the chest, finding length through the back of the neck. And allowing yourself to slow down here. Notice the natural rhythm of the breath start to slow down. Slowly bringing those knees back to the chest and hugging the legs in here once again, maybe taking a rock side to side, massaging the back body. If you'd like, taking any other movements, and then finding yourself in Savasana pose, taking up space on your mat, allowing the eyes to shut. And on an inhale, picturing the number 3. As you exhale, watching that 3 dissolve, allow the body to relax a little bit deeper, softening into the earth beneath you. On your next inhale, picturing the number 2. As you exhale, watching that 2 dissolve, allowing the face to relax, unclenching the jaw, keeping the mouth together, resting the space between the brows. On your next inhale, picturing the number 1. As you exhale, watching the 1 dissolve, allowing the mind to quiet down, giving yourself this space to soak in all the benefits of today's practice, knowing that when it's time, I will guide you back. Slowly beginning to reawaken the body, maybe wiggling the fingers and toes or rolling the wrists and ankles. Drawing right arm overhead, bending the knees and rolling onto your side. As you're ready, pressing yourself back to a comfortable seated position. Palms face down. Taking a moment to notice how you're feeling in your body. Thanking yourself for showing up for today's practice. On an inhale, arms reaching overhead. Exhale, palms through heart center, sealing in your practice. Namaste.